Hey there, everyone. Welcome to the Daily here on MLSsoccer.com. Josh Wiseman joined here by Greg Lawless. Checking in with you one last time before the weekend. And Greg, let's go back to last night. Good match out in Portland.
Great.
0-0 between the Timbers and the Revolution.
Yeah, it ended up scoreless, but great match. Both teams going at it pretty well, but mainly it was a Portland wave going at the Revolution defense. And the Revolution defense did well to hold up strong. Bobby Shuttleworth with a good game in goal for the Revs, but the Portland Timbers attack just came in waves and waves. I think they had something like 22 shots on goal, or 22 shots just trying to score on this one. And I thought they were going to break through. Valeri was all over the place. He had a couple of good chances. Will Johnson with a couple of shots from distance. And Nagby was sort of all over the place trying to direct things. But they were not able to do it. Very reminiscent, someone pointed out on Twitter, when the Revolution went to Seattle and got a draw there as well, a 0-0 draw there. So Revs, pretty good going on the road and getting that point.
Yeah, it was a good performance for them. And afterwards, the Timbers were saying, hey, sometimes it's just not going to happen. So you can catch the highlights of that one on MLSsoccer.com. It was a good one. And of course, Greg, we are heading into the weekend. Saturday, some big games. Let's start in the afternoon. Big one on NBC Sports Network, 4 p.m. Columbus Crew and New York Red Bulls. Can Tim Cahill kind of keep it going this week?
Well, he got the 2 goals last week against Toronto. It's a much different proposition going up against this Crew team. The Columbus team, very, very strong, big in back. Think about Chad Marshall, Daniel Rourke also playing well back there. So it's a little bit of a different defense than they faced against Toronto. However, if New York continue to play with the ability they have to create chances, they could get some good goals. Now on the other side, you have some attacking power on that side as well. The Crew with Federico Higuain, and Arrieta had his best game of the season, I thought, last weekend. So they're coming off that 3-0 victory at home to DC. They're back at home. The scoreboard is fixed, so they should be all set to go.
Crew flying a little bit. Next one, moving on. This is a big one. Another 4 p.m. match. This one's going to be on MLS Live. Montreal Impact, San Jose Earthquakes. Frank Yallop had some things to say about Steven Lenhart yesterday.
Well, Frank Yallop, coach for San Jose, coming out and saying, look, I'm not sure about the suspension to Lenhart, but Lenhart has to change. He has to start thinking about what he's doing and what it does to the team when he gets into some of these situations, when he's getting a card, getting a foul, that kind of thing. I'm sure he loves the passion and the intensity that Lenhart brings, but if it goes overboard, it starts to hurt the team. Now, San Jose, they're not quite fully fit yet still, and this great Montreal team coming off that victory against Toronto in the ACC. They're going out to San Jose. You know they're looking to continue their run as well. They have all that firepower up top.
Yep, and they get a big boost in the back. Matteo Ferrari looks like he is going to be back there anchoring that back line once again for Marco Schalabom. Last one, Greg. LA, Houston, MLS Cup rematch.
It's like the rematch of the rematch of the rematch. These ones just keep coming on the rematch. It is LA
and it's
Houston.
Usually the same result every time. So what's going to happen on Sunday?
I don't know. Should we say that was like a win for the Galaxy? We'll see. I mean, look, Houston, I think for them, they need to play it smart. It would be interesting to see if Houston can maybe play the same type of game that the Galaxy play. Sit back and wait for them to come to them and then go on the counter. Houston have the players to get it done on the counter. However, no Brad Davis. Got the red card last weekend, so he will not be in there. That's a blow for the Houston Dynamo for sure. The Galaxy, though, still no word. You know, I'm assuming that everyone is back and healthy again.
Who even knows with them?
I mean, it's hard to say. Bruce Arena always, sort of playing with the media a little bit on who's going to be injured, but I'm assuming everyone will be back.
Okay, well, that's a big one. 11 p.m. Eastern. You can catch that one Sunday night on ESPN2, and of course, there's going to be a lot of coverage of that one leading up on MLSsoccer.com. Finally, Greg, there's been a lot of talk lately with the CCL ending up, where MLS sort of fits into the whole, I guess, soccer scheme in this hemisphere, and there's usually some chatter about MLS teams participating in Copa Libertadores, but as we saw recently, Don Garber coming out and kind of really dismissing those. What do you think about his comments?
There was some chatter that came out a couple of weeks ago that maybe CONMEBOL were actually meeting to discuss whether MLS was going to be in the Copa Libertadores, which is the South American Championship, the South American equivalent of the CONCACAF Champions League. And Don Garber came out and said, look, we are not in any conversations with them about this happening. So you're right. He quashes this. He says the focus is on CCL, getting an MLS team into the final and getting an MLS team to win CCL. He talked about how it sort of broke his heart to watch 2 Mexican teams in the final. Don't forget Monterrey beating Santos Laguna just on Wednesday with this one. So they're focused on CCL and MLS. They're not worried about Copa Libertadores.
That is the word from Don Garber, and that is all we have for you today. Before we get out of here, make sure you check out a lot of good stuff on the site. There's a great, big, long article for you about turf, where it plays into the soccer scheme in North America. Make sure you check it out. Another great series in the Word. And of course, check out the top 3 performers for the month of April. Obviously, Jack Mack coming out and being named Player of the Month. I know you love that.
I do love that. And another thing I love was we did a special edition of Anatomy of a Goal. We broke down Atticus's goal for the Green Machine against the Portland Timbers.
All right, well, that does it for us. We'll talk to you guys on Monday. Of course, may the 4th be with you.